Me again for another Ology Logy video, and today I'm not at uni, I'm in my usual bedroom. So yeah, here we go with today's Ology Logy video. So yeah, today we are on Criminology. Uh, Criminology is a scientific study of crime and criminals, and it came in like the late 19th century from the Latin word crimen or crimin, meaning crime, and logy. The study of criminology has developed over the past 250 years or so. And that's why criminology is a scientific study of crime, including causes, responses by police, and the methods of prevention. And it's like a subgroup of criminology. Sociology, which is the study of social behaviour, and there's many fields in that's used in criminology, including biology, statistics, psychology, psychiatry, economics, and anthropology. And criminology is a subgroup of sociology. Criminology itself has subgroups, like penology, which is the study of prisons and prison systems. There's biocriminology, which is the study of the biological basis of criminal behaviour, like feminist criminology, which is the study of women and crime, and criminalistics, which is the study of crime detection. And it's much of what we have developed in criminology. This isn't criminology, this is contract, which as I was revising. But the contract's examining a little over a week, even though I probably should be doing my talk, which is Wednesday, the 2nd of May, which is only about 5-6 days away. There's many different theories in criminology that has developed throughout the past 250 years or so. And some things, but they fall out of popularity or is still thought to be relevant today. Now, the creation of criminology as a field of study can be tracked as far back as the 18th century, when two social theorists, Cesare Beccaria in Italy and Jeremy Bentham in England, who each pushed their ideas of the punishment should be so severe that the criminal could decide the pleasure of criminal acts would not be worthy of pain of the punishment. Known as the classical school of criminology. And as recently as 1995, a judge in California sentenced a man to 25 years for stealing a slice of pizza, as it's still illegal to steal a slice of pizza in some US states. The judge in that case had stated that the hands were tied because there was of a three-strike law, and the law would not allow the judge to look at the specific crime. The example follow the classical school of criminology was this example that follows the classical school of criminology was developed over 200 years ago. During the early 19th century, criminologists started to argue that the classical school of criminology does not differentiate between the varying degrees of crimes. There's a lot of people don't see drug offences on the same level as murder and all. These criminologists were known as positivists, and positives believed that the punishment should fit the criminal, not the crime. And Cesare Lombra, an Italian physician and psychiatrist, was a leader in the positivist theory. He believed that criminals were born, not made, and that crime was a matter of nature, not nurture. He had conducted several extensive studies on cadavers and executed criminals, coming up with an argument that certain Facial features such as very large jawbones and strong canine teeth were obvious signs of an individual was or would be criminal. However, this theory became less popular for moral reasons, and in favour of later theories on environmental factors that contribute to criminal behaviour, as like a criminal can be like a one-off in the family or like a family enterprise, but both do happen. And in like the late 19th century, criminologists began to incorporate biology and statistics into the field of study, and like genetics was used to determine whether like criminal behaviour could be linked from one family to another, and like statistics were used to study like the population and crime. Now in like 1946, the Society for the Advancement of Criminology was created, which later became the American Society of Criminology. And it was a scholarly and scientific organisation aimed at studying prevention and causes of crime and treatment of criminals. Now in etymological terms, the criminology is a science about crime. Derives from the Latin word of crimen, and which means crime, and the Greek word of logos, meaning science or discipline. In 1879, Topinard defined criminology as a science which researches committed criminal acts. And then someone called Mergen defined criminology as an independent, autonomous, interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary science that can be divided into like theoretical criminology, descriptive criminology, and clinical criminology. Sociology uses the term deviance, deviant behaviour, and a social behaviour, antisocial behaviour in other terms. Psychology uses the term abnormal behaviour, while criminologists use terms like delinquency, criminal behaviour, criminality, violence, or sexual offence, and many other terminologies specific to criminology. Each science has its own language, and that language are terms. In order to study criminology in a proper manner, students must learn and understand the academic scientific discipline terminologies. Like most common terms used in like criminology is like delinquency, which is like where it is a violation of the norms of a particular culture, but not every culture is a crime. Conduct is a crime, but it's only that behaviour which is dangerous for this specific society. Like sociologists like Jackie Bynum and William E. Thompson define juvenile delinquency as a conduct which violates the law only when committed by children. Scientific discipline of criminal law defines juvenile delinquency as an act in violation of a criminal code committed or omitted by a person under 18. Criminality is is total of all crimes that occur in a particular region and time period. Criminology is like the studies the execution of criminal sanctions. Uses criminological knowledge about the perpetrator and provides feedback about success of a penal treatment. Definition of penology can be provided by Encyclopedia Britannica. Penology is a research area of criminology which researches formation, origin, and development of penalty, its application and impact on convicts. Research objects of penology is execution and criminal sanctions, the status of the order, and post-penal treatment. In short term, the object of research in penology is like the special prevention, post-delictum, or after the criminal act. And victimology is this scientific discipline that studies crime victims, like all victims, and the victimization process, like the types of victimization, relationships with the relationship with the victim and the perpetrator, and effects of like the criminal justice system on the victim. It's victimology itself is developed out of criminology as a specialized scientific discipline, and in like the last 20 years, like victimology has developed its own research methodology defined. Like today, it is all attributed to become an independent and autonomous science out of that it's a bit like criminology. Many academics of criminal law and criminology have contributed to victimology in like terms of better understanding like victim behaviours of victims, relationships between like the perpetrator and the victim, the effects of secondary victimization through criminal case trial, and readiness of a victim to report a crime. On a theoretical level, victimology is thought to as an academic discipline within criminology or criminal law study in the bachelor's or master's college degree program, and sometimes as an independent academic discipline within like PhD studies of criminal justice, sociology, social pedagogy, or through like interdisciplinary police study programs on some universities. In like the short term, victimology is a definition of study why certain people become victims of crime, as it also studies the study of how crime and other harmful events impacts the very same victims. The word victim today has a broad use, and it's used to signify various victim categories of victims like cancer victims, accident victims, victims of injustice, crime victims, and like many more. Moving back to criminology, like theoretical criminology includes like the objects and methods of research. Descriptive like criminology includes like the phenomenological disciplines, while clinical criminology includes like therapy, prognosis and diagnosis, and profiling. Kaiser had defined criminology as a systematic totality of knowledge that is gathered through experience about crimes, criminals' associated behaviours like pre-delinquency, and about the control of those behaviours. Now, Emsing later defined criminology as an empiric science that researches natural and social facts about delinquency, delinquents, victims, social environment, and a crime scene in the general sense. And like others define criminology descriptively as a science that researches crime, breaking the law, and delinquents, and so on and so forth. And there's no way this could pass anywhere, because there's no law in any country which is the same as another country's, nor the objects of research in criminology are only antisocial behaviours, but also asocial, like pre-delinquent behaviours like gambling, prostitution, alcoholism, and the like. Criminology and like the scientific discipline is a transnational, while forbidden behaviours prescribed by penal codes and other laws represented a small portion of research objects in criminology. And and why is that? Like the definitions were usually given by legal experts like lawyers, judges, and prosecutors. And as in like those who finished law school and later obtained a PhD in like criminal law, as they define like criminology from their theoretical point of view, which can be seen as narrow, and like theory is a possible explanation for something. And in criminology, theory is like an explanation of criminal or deviant acts. Theory can explain crime for a large social, ethnic, or subcultural unit, as known as like macro theory, or like a small social unit like micro theory. So yeah, it's like For a theory to be a theory, it must follow logical consistency, like it must have some sense, have an acceptable reach of explanation. It must be applicable to like a large number of cases. It must be precise, detailed, and concise, and it has to be valid today in that kind of sense. Like some authors define criminology as a scientific study of like crime and criminals. This definition of criminology is valid but misses the research objects, although criminology research etiology and phenomenology of crimes. It also researches criminals, victims, social units, micro and macro, as well as asocial behaviours like alcoholism, gambling, prostitution, and crime in general, as a transnational phenomenon. Criminology is a set of a set of knowledges regarding like the delinquency and crime as a social phenomena, and like the objective of criminology is to develop a set of principles and knowledge regarding the application of law, crime prevention, and repression. And it's because it's described as a scientific discipline which studies crime response of a society on criminal acts, criminal behaviours, criminals' execution of sanctions, crime prevention, crime repression, and law enforcement, being like the police and all. Criminology researches a variety of sociological, biological, and psychological causes of crime, and other non-legal aspects of crime. And like criminal law theory defines crime as an act committed or omitted in violation of law, and other definitions describe crime as an unlawful activity. Like popular definition of criminology describes criminology as like scientific study of making of laws, the breaking of laws, and reactions of the breaking of the laws. So yeah, I'm gonna say that was the video today, and I hope to see you all very soon. Au revoir.